Hey everyone, this is Shannon with Smokin the Wild, and on today's episode, I'm gonna take the thick cut pork tenderloin steaks, I'm gonna throw them on the grill. You're not gonna believe how great they taste. Plus, I'm gonna take this fresh cut okra, and I'm gonna do something to it that might just upset okra purists. It's amazing. Stay tuned because we're fixing to get wild. Ah, there he is right there. All right, let's jump right into it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a glove on here because I'm gonna be handling these pork thick cut. I mean, these suckers are cut really thick, all right? So one of the fundamental things that I see people making mistakes, and I've done it too, when they buy pork, especially pork chops or pork tenderloin cuts, is they buy them too thin. Pork cooks very, very quickly. And honestly, the faster it cooks when it comes to that, the more it tends to dry out. So that's why I like buying the thick cut. It's got just a little bit of fat left on it. I bought this entire platter for about $18 at Costco, so very cost effective. So what we're gonna do right off the bat is I'm just gonna take some olive oil. I'm just gonna kind of dredge these a little bit. I'm just gonna rub it in there. All right, we're gonna get the sides, flip them over, and do the exact same thing. Today I'm going to be using cattle caul, and I'm going to be using Bearded Butcher's Hollywood blend for color as well as flavor. So let's get right in here and let's get these things rubbed up so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the cattle caul. There's a link in the description if you're looking to buy this cattle caul. I highly recommend it. It's got salt, pepper, garlic, a little bit of citrus. It's really, really good on everything. I use a lot of it. So we're just going to kind of get that coated, all right? We're going to take some Bearded Butcher Hollywood blend. It's got some paprika in it, some other herbs and spices in it. This is a great, great combination. We're just going to hit that kind of lightly or heavy, however you want to do it. Then we're just going to flip it over, all right? Just like that. And we're going to do the exact same thing. All right, we've got these prepared. By the way, I've got the grill, the Hasty Bake, I've got it getting it up to 300, 325 degrees, somewhere in that neighborhood. You can make this same thing in the oven. You can make it on your pellet grill, your propane grill, whatever you've got. I just prefer the Hasty Bake because it allows me to smoke and grill at the same time. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm smoking on not only hardwood charcoal, but I've also got some apple wood in there. Again, apple's a really great flavor with pork. Again, you do it how you want to do it, but that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm letting the Hasty Bake get to temperature right now, so I'm going to set this aside. And what I'm going to do in the interim is I'm going to prepare the marinade, the glaze, however you want to term it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about a cup of balsamic vinegar. I've got my trusty little vintage cast iron skillet right here. I'm going to put about a cup. That's about a cup, a little bit more. There's a cup, let's do a little bit more. There's a cup of balsamic vinegar, all right? Because I'm using the cattle caul and the Bearded Butcher, I'm gonna go ahead and flavor this balsamic vinegar with just a little bit of rub, all right? That's it. Then what I'm gonna do is take the Bearded Butcher Hollywood blend, do the same thing, all right? The next thing I'm gonna do is I went out to the garden and I cut some fresh rosemary, and I'm going to take off some sprigs here, and as I'm putting it in the glaze, the rub, whatever you want to call it, I'm squeezing it so that it releases the oils from this rosemary. Not a lot, but just enough to give it just a little bit of a hint. And as I squeeze the little leaves on this, I can smell the rosemary, so it releases the oils that are in the rosemary. So we've got that going. Then I'm going to take some Irish butter, all right? And I'm probably going to add about, roughly, I don't know, 2-3 tablespoons, not a lot, okay? Gonna cut off about that. That's probably about 2 tablespoons right there. All right, now that I've got this, just add just a little bit more. All right, there we go. Now I've got that prepared. I'm getting the Hasty Bake up to temperature. I'm gonna let the steaks set here for a little bit and marinate. I've already got the glaze prepared. When I get done with these steaks, these pork loin, I keep saying steaks, but the reality of it is my wife, after the first time I did it this way, she said, honey, these taste very similar to ribeye steaks. And I was tasting it and I was like, you know, you're pretty spot on. Now I'm kind of a ribeye snob. So to say that, but this is as close to ribeye as you can possibly get without having ribeye. If you don't believe me, try it, see it for yourself. This is fantastic. So now that I've got this prepared, as we're waiting for the grill to get to temperature, I'm gonna go to the next step, and then I've got something special for you coming right up. All right, well, I'm letting everything set up and getting the grill to temperature. I'm gonna take just a little bit more Irish butter, all right? Probably about a tablespoon of butter, and I'm gonna put it in yet another vintage cast iron skillet. I've already chopped up some onion. I'm gonna put it in there, all right? Take some cattle call, and I'm just gonna lightly sprinkle in here, just enough to coat the onion, just a little bit, just to give it some flavor, all right? Then I'm gonna take some granulated garlic, even though there's garlic in the cattle call, bing, bang, boom. Within about maybe 20 minutes of the pork loins being done, I'm gonna go put this on the grill. We're gonna caramelize this. It just adds a whole new level to it. I mean, who doesn't like caramelized smoked onion? I know we do in this family. And in just a minute, I'm gonna prepare the last and final part of the meal that's gonna blow your mind. All right, I just went out and checked the temperature on the Hasty Bake. I've actually got it up to 350 degrees. That's perfectly okay as long as it's somewhere between 300 and 350 degrees. It doesn't matter because we're gonna be cooking to an internal temperature, and which we'll get at in just a minute. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these thick cut pork tenderloin steaks and we're gonna go throw them on the Hasty Bake, and we'll go to the next step. All right, one of my favorite parts right here. Let's take our trusty tongs. We're gonna go for grill marks. Ah, hear that sizzle? Ah, yeah. We're gonna let these sear for about 7.5 minutes or so. Then we're gonna flip it over, let it sear on the other side. We already got some good grill marks going here. Whew, don't that look pretty? All right, hear that sizzle? All right. All right, let's go back in the kitchen and prepare the next course. Forgot one of the most important pieces. We've got our onions. So let's go ahead and set that in here. Let that caramelize. It's gonna be pretty when we get done. All right, before I prepare the next course, how are we gonna know when those pork tenderloins are done? Are we gonna go by what it looks like? By the time? Absolutely not. And this matters not whether you're doing it on a Hasty Bake, another charcoal grill, a pellet grill, a propane grill, or in your oven. It's about internal temperature. And the temperature that we're aiming for is 145 degrees. Everything in cooking, I don't care if you're cooking just here in the kitchen solely, or you're bouncing back and forth between a grill and smoker in the kitchen, timing's everything. But when it comes to preparing meat, cooking meat, you go by internal temperature. And today with pork, we're shooting for 145 degrees. And the only way I'm gonna know that is if I use a meat thermometer. Now, if you don't have a meat thermometer, I'm telling you right now, if you're doing it the old school way, which we have an upcoming quick tip about all of that, about traditions that seem to take place in a kitchen over generations that sometimes don't make sense. But if you're not cooking to internal temperature right now, I hope to change your mind about it, because no matter if you're doing it in the oven or on the grill, you can't lose if you simply use a meat thermometer. So here in just a minute, I'm gonna go temp the meat, and I'm gonna just do it every so often until we reach 145 degrees. I don't have to do anything else other than that to know the meat is done. So now let's prepare the fresh cut okra that I just harvested from the garden. And that's the only time you're gonna hear me use the word harvest, is when it comes to vegetables from my garden, because I don't harvest deer, I shoot deer. I don't harvest elk, I shoot deer, and the list goes on. But I do harvest vegetables, which I did from my garden just today. And I'm gonna show you a very innovative, very cool, and very new way of doing okra that may violate what you always thought okra could be. And we're gonna do it in a very gourmet way. A little bit of a touchy subject for some people. I've heard the saying, don't ever trust a skinny chef. And I understand now what that truly means, but the reality of it is, I've been overweight for a while. I'm sick of it, and I like to eat. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing a cooking show. I like to eat. I love great tasting food. I don't like being overweight, so I had to make some adjustments. So I made a decision about a month ago that I'm going to do something about it. And I've tried a lot of different things. I'm extremely active, but I still tried some things that sometimes worked, sometimes didn't. But I finally got on a program with a nutrition coach with my wife, and we're doing it. And it's been amazing results. In the last about two and a half weeks, I've lost over 14 pounds. I've lost 4 inches off my waist. I feel better, I'm sleeping better, and you know what? I'm still eating great tasting food while I'm doing it. And we'll talk about that another time. But I'm gonna prepare okra in a very different way than probably the vast majority of okra purists would ever think about doing, including me. I have about 1.5 to 2 cups of okra. Plus, I've shown you before back in my meatloaf muffin, my venison meatloaf muffin episode, about how to grind up pork rinds, that's right, pork rinds, instead of using flour or cornmeal, which is traditionally how okra is prepared. You put in egg, you put it in cornmeal and flour, and you fry it in oil. That's not the most healthy option, but I'm gonna show you an extremely low to no carb option that's gonna blow your mind. Again, as I said, if I owned a restaurant, I wouldn't hesitate serving it this way. Now that I've got my egg mixture mixed up, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take just a little bit of cattle call. I'm gonna sprinkle it in the egg mixture, all right? I'm gonna take, even though there's already sea salt in the cattle call, I'm gonna add just a little bit more sea salt. There's already garlic in the cattle call, but we love garlic in this house, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of granulated garlic. I'm gonna take my fork, see how I'm lifting and sifting, if you will, and mixing it up. It's all about technique. Get it good and fluffy. There you go. I'm kind of showing off now because it was mixed a minute ago. All right, there we go. All right. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some okra. We're gonna put it in the egg mixture, which is exactly why I'm wearing the gloves. We're gonna get it, just a little bit coated with the egg. Then we're gonna take the pulverized pork rinds. We're just gonna go ahead and take some okra. You wanna kind of sift off some of the egg, most of the egg, because that's just a binder, okay? And we're just gonna kind of lift it up here. All right, get it out here. All right. Then we're gonna put it on our air fryer grate. That's right, I said air fryer. Go ahead, make the negative comments, but when you taste this, you're gonna love me. We're not using oil on this deal. We're about losing some weight and some inches and still eating great tasting food. You make fun of me all you want. I'm losing, and I didn't say anything about getting prettier. You notice I didn't say that. I said I'm getting leaner, and I'm losing weight, and I'm losing inches, and I'm still eating great tasting food. All right, you do it how you want. If you want to deep fry it and keep doing that, you go right ahead. But like I said, this right here is the bomb. Didn't think I'd ever say that. But at 52 years old, I'm learning some new tricks. All right, we're just gonna keep going until I get about this. This is about 2 cups of cut okra right from the garden. It's our lean and green meat meal for the evening. And it is gonna taste amazing when we get done. If you don't believe me, I dare you to try it. Now I want you to take a look at that right there. Now, if that was all done in cornmeal and flour, most people would feel guilty about eating the remnants of all of that. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put that in the air fryer in just a little bit, and we're gonna eat all of that. And guess what? It's low carb, no carb in the pork rinds, and okra is a very low carb vegetable. I actually believe it's manna from heaven, but that's another story. This is gonna taste amazing. If you don't believe me, try it, call me a liar. You won't be doing it because it tastes amazing. It's been about 12 minutes, 13 minutes since I put the pork steaks on. I'm gonna go take the meat thermometer. I'm gonna temp it to make sure it's where the temperature is. I'm gonna go ahead and take the glaze that we're gonna be putting on them, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the hasty bake. We're also going to check the onions, so let's go. And woo, look at that. The ambient temperature of this sauce that we're going to use has already kind of melted the butter. We'll go ahead. I'm going to take this big old cooking eyedropper that I call it. We're going to, like, instead of using our silicone brush, we're just going to kind of coat these pork steaks. All right. We got that balsamic vinegar. We got the butter, the garlic, the rub. See how that kind of flares up there? That's why I'm using it, because that way I can kind of control it. Oh man, look at, don't that pretty. All right, we're gonna go ahead and flip these over and do the exact same thing. And then I'm gonna temp it, and I can already tell by these are a little bit above temperature, but that's okay because they're still gonna be very, very moist. All right, let's get this going. Those onions are already done, I can tell. These are gonna be ready to pull off. Oh man. Woo, grilling and smoking is the way to live right there. Oh my goodness, this is gonna taste amazing. All right, we're about ready to pull these off. I'm gonna be crazy, I'm gonna be wild. We're gonna go ahead and sop some of that up there. I'm just gonna squirt it in the onions. Oh man, let's get crazy. There you go, just to get a little bit more. Ain't gonna hurt nobody's feelings. Let's get our platter and pull these off. Let's go ahead and temp these. Oh, yep. We're about 5-8 degrees above where we need to be, but these are plenty done. We're gonna pull these off. We're gonna let them rest. Oh my goodness. We're gonna go in there and prepare the okra. This is fantastic. All right, all right. Woo-wee, look at that. That right there is pretty. I don't care how you slice it, no pun intended, that's perfect. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the okra, I'm gonna put it in the air fryer, and we're gonna cook that while these pork steaks are resting. Watch this. Slides right in here. This is how easy it is. Let's turn the power on. It's the air fry right there. We're gonna go about 12 minutes at 440 degrees. We're gonna push that, no oil, no mess, and I promise you, you may not wanna have okra any other way when you taste this. Get ready. I want you to take a look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. By the way, I've already tasted it. I've made this before. I already know how it tastes. I'm gonna take a little bit more cattle call. Even though I treated the egg, I'm just gonna kind of sprinkle it on here. That pizza pan's in place to catch it, kind of spice it up. A little to no carbs. This is unbelievable. Whole new way for me to do okra. Check that out. All right, we're finished. And guess what? Not only is this a low carb, high protein meal, but it took me about 31 minutes to be exact, from start to finish, easy, quick, and you want to talk about good for you. Now, as I said before, I aim to defy the old saying, never trust a skinny cook. I can't do anything about this face that God gave me. He's already made his mind up about that, but I dang sure can do something about how much I weigh and how big a wear my waist is, and I'm doing it right now. That's right, I'm losing, but I'm eating great. I want you to take a look at what we've prepared tonight. Again, keep in mind, very low to no carb, good protein, good for you. Take a look at this. Look how good that looks. I mean, life just doesn't get any better. And I'm losing weight while I'm eating like this at night. I'm doing other things during the day with my health coach and things like that. But this is the crux of my the new lifestyle that I have, and I'm losing weight. I can't believe it. Look at how good that looks. We didn't sacrifice flavor in this deal. We kicked it up a notch, and we're still losing weight in inches. I can't believe it. Hey, the only thing left to do is to taste it. Oh my goodness, watch this. Woo-wee. Oh my goodness, that really, man. Let's get some of this okra, this pork rind air fried okra. I don't know what to say. Except for, if you don't make this meal, you're crazy. This is amazing. I may or may not have this salad. I may or may not need it. I don't know what else to say other than you gotta try it. It's fantastic. And I'm not trying to sell you on the idea of losing weight, but if that's something that interests you, would you rather eat this way or some of the ways they talk about on Facebook or on television? You be the judge, however you want to do it. You cook however you want to cook. I just want to see you cooking, but I'm still cooking and I'm losing weight. If you want more information, I've got a link. You can contact us. We can talk to you about it. If not, no big deal. Thanks for watching. If you haven't smashed that subscribe button yet, please do so. Get future episodes by clicking that bell notification. No matter what you do, just get cooking and grilling, enjoying life through great tasting food. We're all about taking people from saying, I can't do this, to wow, I just did that. That's what we're all about here on the Smokin the Wild. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.